Fashion trends are simultaneously the most interesting and the most exhausting part about fashion. 1 minute bootcut jeans are in, then parachute pants, and I just caught wind of something called bubble skirts. Whatever that is. Apparently those are the new it bottoms. Regardless, no matter how you feel about trends, it's important to keep tabs on public sentiment towards particular items and concepts within the fashion world. This video is exactly that. Today, we're going to focus on 7 trends that have died in 2024. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew. What it do? It's nice to meet you. Let's talk fashion trends. Rather, let's talk dead fashion trends.
But what would I wear? Not a dress, it's a kilt! Sicko!
The first trend that is on this list that has fallen completely out of conversation is Gorpcore. Gorp, which stands for good old raisins and peanuts colloquially, was a pandemic-birthed fashion trend that focused on using technical outdoors garments in metropolitan cityscapes. The item that symbolized the trend the most vehemently was the Arc'teryx Beta LT. This jacket was memeified, especially on TikTok, due to the influx of videos made testing the water-wicking ability of the shell jacket in the shower. While incredibly amusing at the time, looking back at these videos in 2024, they feel really juvenile and just downright dumb. What you see now is that this style of clothing has swung back to its original core audience, and you no longer have the 20, 21, 22-year-old living in New York City or Philadelphia or LA, or I guess LA is kind of the market a little bit, but you no longer see the young person going out buying shell jackets to wear them in TikTok videos and wear them as style, as personal style in their day-to-day lives. The only time I see Gorpcore in 2024 is if it's worn by outdoorists, hikers, and people who live in states like Colorado or Utah. Something like that. Regardless, Gorpcore was fun while it lasted. We might be in a slight Gorp 2.0 era, which needs a whole other video to explain what that means. But regardless, Gorpcore, like I said, was fun while it lasted. Next, let's touch on New Balance. I personally love New Balance, and from about 2019 to mid to late 2023, the brand had been on an absolute tear through the sneaker world. It felt like everything they did, every collaboration they came out with was fire, from the 550s to the 992s, 990 V3s, 2002 Rs, 327s. I mean, there is a long list of New Balances that came out from 2019 to 2023 that was just banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. But now, in 2024, I think that the brand is bearing witness to the immense popularity that is the Adidas Gazelle and the Adidas Samba, because that's the era, that's the moment for 2024 and late 2023, maybe even mid 2023. Adidas, without a shadow of a doubt, is the most popular, the most trendy, the most worn, the most talked about pair of sneakers over the last 18 months. And what that means is that the other companies who are a part of the larger sneaker market as a whole, New Balance, Nike, Puma, Asics, they are all subservient to the popularity of the Adidas Samba. It doesn't mean people aren't wearing New Balances or Nikes or other models of footwear. It just means that Adidas has the crown right now. Let's keep talking about shoes here for a minute, but switch gears from sneakers to boots, and let's talk about the big rubber boot trend that took place in 2023. At least that's what I'm calling it. So in 2023, 2022, we had boots like the Trooper boots by Balenciaga, the Balenciaga Crocs, Bottega Veneta's puddle boots, and the infamous big red boots. This type of footwear seems to have fizzled out in 2024 when it comes to being on trend and rising in popularity. I think it hit its peak rather quickly and is now on the downhill and is no longer what it used to be in those previous years. And I think the reason that these shoes are no longer as popular as what they used to be is because what Balenciaga and Mischief was doing, and even Bottega Veneta in some degree, what they were doing is they were creating shoes that were great for spectacle. They were great for social media. But the moment you put them on, the moment you try to take a couple more than 25 steps in them, you begin to realize how the function of the shoes is much lower than the actual aesthetic and the spectacle of the shoes. I also think Balenciaga's 2022 scandal put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth for Balenciaga. Of course, you still have the people who've been rocking with the brand before and always rock with Balenciaga. But for a lot of people, they were kind of looking at you funny if you wore Balenciaga like late 2022, 2023. And I don't know, maybe some people still feel that way about Balenciaga right now if you wear Balenciaga. But all that to say, I think that scandal hurt the brand and hurt products like the Trooper boots, the Puddle boots, the Puddle boots aren't Balenciaga, but you get my point. The Crocs, Balenciagas, all that kind of hurt the brand. And as a result, a lot of these products lost cachet because of that scandal. The last footwear related trend that has changed or died in 2024 is the Jordan 1 kind of mode of sneakers and the kind of resale sneaker culture as a whole. I'm not saying sneaker culture is dead as a whole. I'm just saying that resale sneaker culture and this idea that you can get rich on the sneaker market, this era of like sneaker culture from like 2013 to like 2019, I think that era that was so popularized and so big has died, and it's changed completely in the 2020s. Now, before all the folks come at me, let me try to paint this picture for you, and let me explain what I mean. So Hypebeast tracks the number of impressions each article they publish gets. And as per the recording of this YouTube video, the number one most engaged article is for a pair of Salehi Bembury Crocs. That is the number one article in 2024 when it comes to popularity and impressions when we're talking about footwear. I think even beyond footwear, I think it's the number one impressionable article on their website right now. Not a Jordan 1, not a Jordan 4, not a Jordan anything, honestly. While Jordans will never die, and I think it's important to say this as well, is that all the things that I've mentioned in this video, the term that they're dead doesn't mean that people aren't still wearing them, doesn't mean that people aren't still enjoying them. And if you like any of these items, by all means, continue to wear these things because fashion is super subjective. What's trending in one moment changes, and what's trending next week will change. And so everything is kind of the opposite of ephemeral. It's fleeting. It's fatty. The world is very fatty, right? So if you like these things, continue to wear them. I think we can all agree that sneaker culture and the popularity of sneakers has changed dramatically in 2024. Yes, sneakers still sell out. Yes, there are sneakers that still are very, very highly praised, but the way that the audience and people and just the fashion community at large interacted with sneaker culture and the sneaker community in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 is vastly, dramatically different than the way that we engage with sneakers now. And it could be for a lot of reasons. I mean, it could be because the maturation of individuals. It could be because there's an overstimulation or basically what I'm trying to say, there's so many sneakers that come out, it's hard to keep track of it. So it makes it a bit less appealing to follow the sneaker world because there's always something new. There's always a biggest, baddest collaboration that's coming out. There's a lot of reasons why that sneaker culture isn't the way that it used to be in terms of popularity and trendiness. For this one, I'm curious to know what you think about it. I actually made a video about have sneakers died in 2024. I made an earlier video kind of talking about this and going more in depth. So if you want to hear more about that, you can just search it up, or I'll try to link it in the video card or in the description. Number 5, headphones as accessories. I remember when headphones, and even more specifically AirPod Maxes, became fashion accessories. And now living in New York City, you still see decorated headphones and AirPod Maxes all the time. I still see them all the time when I step outside and I walk through the streets. There's young people, older people, millennials, Gen Zs wearing bedazzled, interesting, stickered headphones that are in some ways elements of personal style, right? But I think I can officially say that the trend is a trend no more. And it makes sense for places like New York City to still see elements of this fleeting trend in the cityscape, because I think places like New York City were huge in bringing that type of culture, bringing headphones as an aesthetic, as a trend to the forefront. Because in New York City, you walk around a lot. It's a very walking, commuter, train travel, commuting city. And instead of blasting music through your subwoofer, through your radio, or whatever it may be, or through your car, like a lot of people implemented and started using wireless Bluetooth headphones or wired headphones. And so it makes sense that it's still here, but I think from a culture standpoint, as a large in the US, in the Western world, you're not really seeing as many people using headphones as a way to accessorize like you did in 2022 and in 2023. But as a side note, I do think and I do predict that there will be more consumer tech adjacent or tech adjacent products that will flow in and out of trend. I think the world is becoming so much more digital. You have AI, you have VR, you have all these elements of technology that are playing a bigger and bigger role in our lives. I mean, you're watching this video through YouTube. How many hours a week do you spend on YouTube? How many hours a week do you spend on TikTok or Instagram or just online? I think as wearable tech and tech just becomes more integrated in our lives, it'll be very interesting to see how new forms of technology fuse with fashion to become and create the newest and latest and most interesting trends for the 2020s, the 2030s, the 2040s, etc., etc. Let's get a word in for today's sponsor, Squarespace. Are you interested in making your very own website for a brand or creative project? Squarespace offers a comprehensive amount of features to help you create the website that you've always wanted. If you want to sell your products direct to consumer, or if you want to showcase your body of work, Squarespace makes it easy to do that and more. Currently, I'm using my Squarespace website as a hub for all of my content and as a way to direct those interested to my podcast and social media. If you need a design to help nudge you into creating your first website, this is your sign. Visit squarespace.com/DrewJoyner for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's been almost 1 year since the Barbie movie came out, and whether you like it or not, that movie was a cultural moment for a lot of the Western world and just the world as a whole. That moment is now over, and it's been over since about November after Halloween here in the US. Barbiecore and the inundation of pink themed outfits have completely died out. And while it was interesting to see how a film could have such a big impression on the Western world, it is equally as interesting to see how quickly it has faded from the conversation. The last trend I'm going to speak on, I'm actually happy that it's died, okay? I can't believe I'm talking about this. This trend is underwear being worn on the outside as an outer garment, as a fashionable thing to do, as a fashion statement. Wearing underwear as pants. I actually had no idea about this trend. I had never seen it in real life. I had never even scrolled past it on social media. So apparently this was happening in niche communities on social media, probably on TikTok. I'm spending less time on TikTok these days because it's just not as healthy for me. But I haven't seen it really that much. But when I was told about it and then I started reading about it, I started to realize, wow, this is actually a thing, which made me sad a little bit. When I see outfits where underwear is a key element within the styling of the entire look, I literally just ask myself, what the guys? What the actual I don't know what compelled people to start wearing underwear like this. I guess anything goes in fashion. If you can do it tastefully, you can make people maybe jump on the bandwagon with it. But I don't know. To me, I'm kind of glad that this is a here today, gone tomorrow type of trend. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't want to be seeing anyone in their underwear. I don't care how cool it is. Give it 6 months and watch my opinion totally flip on this subject. Regardless, I'm saying it's dead. Let me know if you agree down in the comments. Have you seen this? Have you seen these type of things like taking place? Underwear being worn on the outside as an outer garment? It's crazy. Of these 7 trends that I mentioned, which ones do you think are still alive and well? Which trends did I miss? I've made this video, I think 3 years running now, since 2021. So if there's other trends that you think have died, I probably mentioned them in those videos, which those videos are fun too. I'm so curious to hear what you think down in the comment section. This is a conversation. I love having conversations on social media. That's the point of social media, in my opinion. So if you have an idea, if you have a thought, write it down below. As always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2024. So that means I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity to you and more. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful rest of your day. Abianto. Peace. Yo, what is good? Post vid. Here's a fist bump for the one time. Bop. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. Here's a second fist bump. Bop. I appreciate you so much. PVV. You've been with me for a minute, right? Who remembers the days in Denver when I had a golden mic, red little mesh thing on top of it. I don't even know the specific term for it. I'm bringing that vibe back, man. I'm going handheld with the microphone because I think it adds just a little bit of extra je ne sais quoi. Adds a little bit of extra je ne sais quoi to the videos. You know what I'm saying? A little je ne sais quoi. Let me know what you think about the red mic tip down in the comments. Hashtag PVV so I know that you made it to the end of the video. Let's make it to the next video, man. I'm filming this right before I go to Japan, so I'll probably post this while in Japan. So hopefully you're enjoying your time in Japan. First time in Japan. It's crazy. It's gonna be a movie. A movie. I can't even talk. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.